I'm the Commissar. We're watching Forged Alliance Forever, and you think a leader should lead by example, from the front. Well, we're gonna get a lot of that today, but who's it gonna pay off for? Let's find out. Yes, we are back in the comforting realms of Ladder, where there is a hot team and a cold team. Let's meet the cold team first, because they're on the left. And as a Western fellow, I tend to read left to right. Starting here, we have Veselchak. His name means merry man, I believe, and all I can think of there is Mr. Worf saying, "I am not a merry man," in the episode of Star Trek where Q turns them all into Robin Hood. And if you're thinking, isn't Star Trek a show about, like, dudes in space? You have a lot to learn. Anyway, Veselchak is 1226 rated in Cybran. He is in dark blue. To his north, in this central valley position, we have Red 666, who confusingly is in blue. I can see that being very easy to understand and not confusing at all. This is red, he's in blue. He's 1088 rated and he is UEF. In baby blue, specifically. And last but not least, up here at the top for Cold Team, we have ExtraMassBlocker, the game's highest rated player at 1541. He's Eon in mauve. And their mirrors. Down here for Hot Team, we have Doubledealer, 1270 rated and Seraphim. He's in burgundy. In the valley position, we have my good friend rcxdude. He's 1173 rated and he is Cybran in bright red. And finally, for Hot Team, this is Elwood, 1380 rated and Cybran. He is in orange. And we have to take a look at the map. Now, there is a little bit of reclaim scattered all over it, just generally, but especially in these areas here. But look at how choky it is. Now, you can walk through here, and that's going to be crucial. You can also walk through here. And you can see that we have already got just that going on, going for this reclaim here from Elwood. Same up here from MassBlocker. So those little choke points are going to be essential, but you can't get up here, you can't get up here. This is an isolated valley at the back with these three mexes, so there's going to be a lot of drop work available in this game. This is going to be essential in order to gain map control. We have an edge-built factory here from Veselchak, and that's immediately producing engines to grab this reclaim and mexes. Same on the way from Double, although he's a little bit further behind, and Veselchak will get his finished first. Now, these mexes I expect to go to Double, and Elwood has these, but RCX and his mirror Red are actually quite starved for mexes. They've got this couple here, and then all the rest that they might go for are contested. I suppose they've got these mexes at the back if they drop them. We'll have to see whether either of them does. I'm not seeing... Look at this. This is land all day from Red. Has RCX gone for any air yet? Well, he is actually. He's going for it as his fourth factory. Now, big energy drop from Elwood here to the middle. That could be good. He's immediately fortifying it with a point defense. And that will pay off because there are these tanks and labs around here from the other team. But no, it won't pay off, because we have the perfect response from Veselchak. It's a bomber, and 5 of the 6 NGs are immediately dead. There is an inti lock onto it from Elwood, but I think that bomber is going to be enough to finish all this. Boom! Down goes the NG, down goes the rear that was building. Point defense is still up, but great bomber work. Meanwhile, though, those labs we talked about have gone into RCX's base. However, RCX has a Mantis in a position, and he's going to be able to defend against them. RCX still not finished on his air factory. Elwood, meanwhile, does have a bomber out. and another transport out, I think he might try to redrop the middle. Is he going to be able to do anything with it? Although by the time he redrops the middle, his comm will be almost already there. The bomber looks like it's going for Veselchak's comm. I think that might be a mistake. I think he might have thought this was an expanding engineer, which this bomber would have done very well against. But it's barely going to scratch the comm. Anyway, here he is with that NG drop again, this time with a Mantis in support. And the comm is not far away. He's going for a factory, and that's a good choice. But Red has a bunch of labs not far away. Veselchak has a bunch of tanks not far away. Elwood is going to have to fortify this position quickly, although his comm will be a great help. We can see that Red is also bringing his comm in over here. Good work here from Elwood, stopping the work of Veselchak over here. However, Red is coming in with his comm, with his army, and Elwood might be forced to retreat here. As he does that, let's have a quick look over at the top where Doubledealer has advanced on MassBlocker, but MassBlocker has just a little more in the way of units there and is forcing him back. Meanwhile, Red thinks he can take this base from Elwood, and he might be able to, he might not be able to. This point defense, remember, it was the one that was built by the first drop. It isn't ward, and so Red could just walk up to it and shoot it, which would be pretty good. And I think he might do exactly that. Where Elwood's comm is now coming back in to join the party, but yeah, Red's just taken out that point defense no problem and might be able to take out his factory. His spam is coming in support, but no, he's not gonna push over here to where RCX is trying to raid Blocker. He will get this point defense down, I think, but the point defense is going to do its work against the Mantis, and by the time the point defense is down, like so, it's given both Blocker and Red a chance to send in units, and that will negate RCX's raid. And we saw earlier that Veselchak was just taking mexes for free. He still is. These mexes from Elwood are completely undefended. There's a point defense back here to try and stop him getting through, but Veselchak is just taking these. Meanwhile, RCX starts the gun upgrade. You know I love a bit of aggressive comm action, and here we are. Elwood, meanwhile, has finally dropped the mexes in the valley behind Hot Team. We have nothing of that same nature yet from Cold Team. Eco's looking very level, just a couple of mass points per tick in it, so very good at the moment. And look at this, we have gun upgrade on the way for MassBlocker. We have gun upgrade on the way for Veselchak. So we're definitely seeing aggressive upgrades going down, and it looks like RCX, who's finished his first, might be on the way to push forward. Blocker finishes his range upgrade and goes for the speed upgrade using the Eon split shenanigan. We see Veselchak being quite slow on his. Is he mass stored? Yes, he is. Look at that. That's a horrific mass store. Look at all this reclaim he could be grabbing, given that he's got control of this area. That, I think, is a mistake on his part. Anyway, where was I? Quick overview. Eco's still very level as they increase, hand in hand, as it were. But RCX comes forward. He's got his gun comm. He's got a decent amount of spam. And Red doesn't have a great deal to stop him as yet. Red's army and his comm are over here, and Red's comm is locked in position. You can't move for new players. You can't move when you're getting an upgrade on your comm. And so Red locked in position, while RCX simply saunters forward with his comm, and he's going to blow this lot up. With the gun upgrade, there's very little that Red can do about it, and he just has to fall back. Oh, but what is that? As RCX advances on the left, we have an arty drop coming into the back of Elwood's base from Veselchak, and I love it. There's nothing here to defend. RCX continues to get good work done, but this arty is amazing. I'm pretty sure it's going to claim at least one T2 mech, maybe more. And I don't think Elwood's noticed yet, because he's just happily putting up all this energy storage here, right here in the line of fire. RCX continues to push in. There's now quite a swarm of troops from Red. But will it be enough to stop RCX? Well, now he's noticed, has Elwood, as this Mantis comes out to stop it, but he's already lost 2 T2 mechs there, and that is going to be painful. RCX continues to charge in. He is not going to be put off by anything so simple as this being the enemy base. And that's 3 T2 mechs down for Elwood now, as the Mantis swarm around the arty. I love it. RCX continuing on the offensive. And Red is coming back in with his comm to take on the Red player. The arty is dead, but here is Veselchak in person now. There's T2 point defense, so we got to watch out. Now, Red swarms forward and RCX begins to retreat, and we've also got to look down a little bit at where we have those troops from, I've completely forgotten his name, Veselchak, running past Elwood to try and get in. RCX is going to try and retreat along this cliff path here, as he realizes he's up against quite a large number of units, and Red did finish the gun. Meanwhile, Veselchak is in the red as he's deep in enemy territory, and look at these point defenses going up out of his range, and Veselchak is down as the swarm runs past Elwood, and RCX is having to run away. This is insane. Meanwhile, Elwood does have this bunch of tanks in Red's base, but I think he's forgotten about them. RCX has brought in tanks to support him against the advance of Red, and although he's deep into the yellow, so is Red, and Red might have to fall back against this many units from RCX and from Doubledealer. And RCX is going to get out, though I think it was close for a minute there. Meanwhile, Blocker has got himself into a bit of a scrape here with Doubledealer. Double's comm is here, his tanks are here, and Blocker is right here, surrounded. What's he going to do? Is he going to be able to get out of this? Double has guns, so does Blocker, but Blocker is shedding hit points very fast, and he's trying to make it to the water. Is he going to manage? He's into the red. I don't know if he's going to make it out of this. 1,000 hit points remaining and still under fire. 700, 5, 4, 3, 2. He's under the water. With 200 hit points remaining, MassBlocker makes it under the water with only 200 hit points. That is amazing. Over here, Red's been able to reposition his tanks in order to drive Elwood's forces back before they got any more damage. But having lost all these mexes, Red's eco is really in a pickle. Back to here, where Blocker was trapped under the water, and Doubledealer's answer is just, well, I'm going to build a torpedo launcher. What are you going to do about it? You can't come out or you'll get shot. Attempts to ground fire him here by Dealer. This feels unwise with only 1,000 hit points, but staying in the water is also unwise. What choice does he have? Out he comes, and he's overcharging the engineers as an Ilshi comes up behind him, and that gets him a crucial rank of veterancy. Then he just shoots the torpedo launcher. And now, sure, he's being swarmed by Ilshis, he's back into the red, but that veterancy 100% saved him for now. Is it going to be enough though? 500, 400, 300. And he's back under the water with 300 hit points. That's 2. That's twice. He's had a ridiculously close escape. He brings in a horde of these blazes now. And again, but Doubles Ilshis can just run around here. And I think we may end up with the same position as last time, with Blocker deep in the red, trapped in the water. I say that, but we've still got a decent horde of blazes here. However, the Ilshis are much better than blazes, and they're coming in large amounts. And there's nothing to stop Double using his comm to weigh in as well, whereas that health bar is definitely stopping Blocker. Quick check over here. We do have a transport. Could that be important? You can see what I'm thinking about. But the Ilshis are coming in from Double, but Blocker still has a lot of blazes. However, blazes are paper thin. And suddenly, look at this. The blazes are all dead. We've got Ilshis here. Somebody's... that would be vessel check indicating to Blocker that he should try and get out of there. And he's not wrong, but... there is a problem in the way, and it is a lot of Ilshis. This is what the transport's doing. The back valley, which you remember Elwood colonised for Hot Team some time ago, the back valley for Cold Team, is being colonised for Blocker. And again, we have a torpedo play, but this time killing it with a bunch of engineers. Killing a bunch of engineers is going to be harder, because this is Double's comm killing it. But the transport is coming in. Is he going to be able to manage the evacuation? Inty screen, and up he gets. Zoop. And away he goes. Bye, he says. Excellent work from MassBlocker. Now over to the middle, where RCX has quite a decent army. Elwood's comm is here, RCX comm is here, RCX has stealth as well. And both he and Elwood are massing units, so there could be quite a devastating push here for Hot Team if they could just make it connect, but they're not pushing yet. We've got T2 on the field for red. RCX and Elwood also have T2. And RCX also has Cybran T2 given to him so he can run this plateau. Because this was inherited by Blocker, but he's given it to red. But we got to come back up here where Dealer is just charging in. And sure, that's a lot of this madman is coming back on the transport. Where a second ago he was in grave danger and having to evacuate himself, well now he's added shield and he is coming back to take that fight. Meanwhile though, look at this, Double has used some spare T1 tanks to raid the base belonging to Blocker, and this could get some real damage done. This could be great. The Ilshis however here are beginning to die for Double. They can't chew their way through the shield on Blocker's comm, and Blocker has more spam in support. I think Doubledealer is going to be forced to retreat, and he is. Straight down here though, RCX has begun the push. Red's comm is here, and he's now got nano as well as gun. RCX has a bigger army. I would say it lacks tech, but this is labs. This is just labs. RCX may have only like a stealth field in here to represent his T2 force, but it is going to do the damage, and the raid is killed. But it got 3 T2 mexes, and it was basically just T1. So great work from Doubledealer. And RCX's raid has killed these mexes again, but now there's all these pillars coming out from red. And pillars plus the gun nanocom will be enough to hold this back, so good defending there. And it looks like we're going to have to go back up to Blocker and Double, because Blocker, oh look, he's reaching almost all his health now. He's on 4 vets, no surprises. He comes out yet again, supported by blazes and shields. But this is new. Oh, okay, that's not stopping here. We'll have to... oh, maybe it is, maybe it is. We have a Harvey. We have a Harvey being dropped in, showing that Blocker is now at T3, and Double is going to have to... Double is actually quite badly surrounded here. And he's got a gun shield com versus just gun. He's got T3 units on him. His Ushis are nice, but not nice enough against the Harvey and against the shielded Master of Blazes. Waves and waves of T1 bombers coming to try and deal with the com, but they're not going to make it. Oh, there's shield here. And Double is actually now deep into the yellow. And Blocker is just punching him. I think he's overcharged the Harvey, but is it now Dealer's turn? He's now in the red to rush for the water. A factory is thrown down to block by appropriately named Blocker. The T1 bombers clear it, and Double rushes to the water, and Double is now down on only 1400 hit points, hiding in this tiny pond. And how is he going to get out as more Harveys arrive for Blocker? And tech might now be a problem for a hot team. We have T3 on the way for red. We have T3 actively producing and with multiple support factories for Mass Blocker. RCX is not on his way at all. Elwood has only just started, and Dealer is not on his way at all. So massive tech advantage on the land here for the Cold team. And look at this, we have torpedo bombers coming in, and they've done their job. They've driven Double out of the water, and Doubledealer might not be long for this world as he walks into the gun shield com, and there's a Harvey here as well. Boom! Mass Blocker defeats Doubledealer, and we're now down to 2v2. These are great though. Look at these. These engineers, they were doubles. Elwood's now inherited them, but look at this. There's 10,000 mass there for them to eat, and this is great work. In fact, if we look at the reclaim, we see that there's nearly 10k lead on reclaim, and it's contributing to a total mass collected lead. But look at the eco. This is wild. There's like, they've got nearly, hot team have got nearly twice cold team eco, so Elwood has been ecoing massively in all of this. They've got the map control, they've got the eco. This is also quite hilarious, as we have this cheeky little point defense denying this base from Elwood is denying the base from Mass Blocker that used to belong to Vesselchak. So hot team definitely have the advantage here, and in pushes RCX. However, T3 has been finished for red, and he has got Titans out. The Titans, the pillars, the gun nanocom, if he remembered to bring it in. I think that might be enough to defend here. And RCX Wallow has forgotten this army to push in here at the same time, which would have been a nice pincer movement. So unfortunately for RCX, red can defend one side at a time, and as he is doing exactly that. I was about to say, someone's telling him to do that, but my loyal viewers, that was me. And the eco is now 200 ahead for a hot team. This is insane. But what can they turn it into? That is the question. However, do Cold Team have anything to say about it? Well, this might be something to say about it. I see a transport full of Harveys, and that could drop some vulnerable things. Remember, there's no com up here to defend now, because Doubledealer is dead, and Mass Blocker's going to be spending most of his focus on his main base in the south. So it seems like we've got this Harvey drop trying to just be snuck in by Mass Blocker, and that could really do the deed. While it's in there, though, we have a cheeky little raid coming in here from RCX. Not much to kill here, but if you can get in through this passage, which remember is passable, that could work. Those Harveys are down. There's a lot of T1 bomber defense from Elwood who's seen it, but he is going to lose 3 T2 mexes of it. No question about it. Up here. Now, red wants the middle back, and he is pushing forward. There are T2 point defenses here, but his tech... Okay, if he advances, which he's doing, his tech will be able to handle this. He's massed quite an army to take this position of Elwood, who's already got a few point defences here, and he's also got these rhinos coming up from the south. This is actually a significant army. I think he's going to wipe the floor with his position here. And my loyal viewers, he absolutely does. Meanwhile, these Harveys have cleaned up all these mexes, but backed up by still more Harveys coming in here. The Blazes are advancing on what used to be Doubledealer's base. However, this is a lot of Ilshis and even the Harveys. There's MassBlocker power stored. I don't see any shields up. No, he's not, so that shield must just have been taken down. These Ilshis are enough to defend. However, Red is pushing on RCX, you know, the red player, with his army, and RCX is defending fine. But while that happens, these two Harveys are sneaking into the front of RCX's base, and this could be brutal, because remember at the start of the game I mentioned that RCX and Red were in the toughest positions eco-wise. These are mexes here that RCX cannot afford to lose, and that he has lost to these Harveys. Meanwhile, these tanks from Red are pushing in on RCX. They're going to deny him these mexes as well. And this could be painful. This could be more painful though, because RCX is throwing up point defenses, but these two Harveys are still, rather, getting in here. They take out his T3 Gen Foundation, and if they can take out his power as well, this could be absolutely brutal. And they do, and sure, RCX is going to be able to kill these Harveys, but look at the utter mess it has left his eco balance in. He can't spend his vast overflow of mass. He's overflowing 2/3 of his mass because he can't spend it, having lost all his power. That is amazing work from MassBlocker. And as if that weren't enough, these units are now pushing in from the front. But RCX's point defense, which you put up in readiness of the Harveys, are now going to be able to handle these easily, and Elwood is helping out with bombers. So RCX is going to survive this, but at what cost? Actually, he didn't lose these two mexes. That surprises me. However, there is now this army battling in front of Elwood's base, and that's got T3 in it. Elwood has finished T3 production, and he's producing bricks, but he's only got 2 or 3 out so far. However, bricks do beat Titans, so unless he wants to be easily overwhelmed, Red is going to have to switch up to Percy's, and she shows no sign of doing that at this stage. This army is not choosing to push Elwood now, it's coming in for RCX. Or maybe it's just trying to get hold of this reclaim, because look at that, there is 10k reclaim there, which is going to be absolutely delicious for whoever gets their hands on it. RCX is trying to, this is good, I like it. And if Red forgets about this army, he's going to lose it, because Elwood is harassing it with T1 bombers, and there's no anti-air in this mix at all. And Elwood also has seen the 10k reclaim here, because in comes a drop of engineers. That's nice work from Elwood, making sure that his team gets the reclaim. And though that said, Cold Team have not been idle, and they've actually caught up on the reclaim collected front. More Harveys in here now denying this plateau. So map control, I would now say, is actually favouring Cold Team, because they haven't got this plateau, but they're certainly denying it. But they have got this one. Also, Harvey raids taking out these mexes belonging to Elwood, and he might have a problem if they come sneaking in here trying to raid. Elwood, however, has been getting a decent number of bricks out, and remember I mentioned that bricks beat Titans. Is this enough Titans? I don't feel it is, because RCX also has bricks that he's now bringing in to support the army from Elwood, and Hot Team might just win back the middle here. Yeah, these engagements are definitely going the way of Hot Team. has... Well, Red's not producing anything right now because he's focusing on ecoing up. But he needs to switch to Percy's and he needs to do so. This is not capped. Oh, Red, my friend, please. You need to cap all your T2 mexes before you start upgrading to T3. This is the most inefficient thing you can do. We have a chicken finished here for Elwood in Dealer's old base, but that is not what we can focus on right now. We have to look here where RCX is being swarmed. His army's up front helping out Elwood, fine. But I'll tell you what that means. It means it's not in his base. And this is a lot of Harbies. That's like 15 Harbies there. And RCX has a lot of point defense. And he's trying to build more. But this feels a lot like it's too little. Too late. The Harbies swarm in. The power's going to go down. The mass is going to go down. Is RCX himself going to go down? He's making a run for it, but his transport dies. And the Harbies come for the man himself. RCX, are you going to survive this? I'm going into cinematic mode, which means I have a feeling that you won't, and he does not. Boom! RCX is our next casualty, defeated by this swarm of Harbies from MassBlocker. Not only is RCX defeated, his entire base has been smashed. Now, we saw a GC complete for Blocker, and it's just in time, because this chicken, backed up by a decent army of Ursies and Othiums, is on its way in, and is going to come through this little passageway and smack its way into Blocker's base, unless the GC is able to come and defend. We do have a lovely little brick raid from Elwood, which is coming in here, and it can probably deny a lot of these mexes that used to belong to Vesseljack. These point defenses are definitely too little too late. One mex down. I reckon he's going to lose all of these, and there's nothing that Blocker can do about it, and there's still that 100 eco lead. This raid might also do work, but we have to focus here, because the chicken is charging in to Blocker's main base. Lovely micro here from Blocker, who's getting in behind the chicken, and the chicken is getting no damage on that GC. The GC is getting all the damage on the chicken, and the GC kills the chicken almost for free. That is amazing work from MassBlocker. Great micro. But the Iron Storm is really doing a number on MassBlocker's base, and if that weren't enough, look at this. This entire base that used to belong to Vesseljack has been wiped by these 3 bricks. That was 6 mexes. And it's painful. There has been enough Percy defense from Red to save the base on the plateau, but the base down here is dead. And that's also the HQ, so there's going to be no more rhinos coming out of here. Unless he's got another HQ somewhere else, which I don't think he has. Indeed he can't. The rhino finishes and then there's nothing more coming out apart from engineers. So this brick raid has really paid for itself many times over. So where are we? Hot team still over 100 eco ahead. Despite the fact that the map control is definitely in Cola Team's favour, this raid has done sterling work, and don't forget there's this passage through here. The bricks are just going to try and sneak their way around, but you could then only get out here, so that could be more difficult. And this GC, though it took a lot of damage from the Iron Storm and was deep in the red, is still a GC. Is there enough here to stop it? Because we now actually have T3 Air out from Elwood, and he's building a big T3 Air grid here. But is there enough there to stop a Galactic Colossus, even a heavily injured one? I do not know if there is. Elwood, however, has a monkey out, and it is coming forward, supported by a lot of bricks. This army is more than enough to beat this army, I am sure of it. But Elwood pauses. Elwood, my friend, you need to Push. You need to go in. You need to do the damage with it. Please move it. No? Meanwhile though, that GC, that damaged GC is coming in, and we have point defenses going up. 3 of them already up. Will they be enough given how much damage this GC has already taken? But the GC gets a vet and is back into the yellow. And it's focusing the air grid down. That's a nice choice. Come on, hit this P-Gen. Boom, look at that. The air grid is being devastated. The PDs are being devastated. And suddenly this almost dead GC has a good chance to wipe this entire base. And that could be amazing. Look at this. PD's desperately going up, but the GC is just feeding its way. There's another vet. Look at it, just smashing its way in. There was an attempt to build a chicken here, but it's half built, and there's no way that's going up before the GC wrecks this entire area. What a mess it's making. Back into the red again as it wanders through all the point defense fire. And with only 8, it gets the last red. It actually gets the last red. And it continues to trash the base. That's amazing. We've still got no action going on down here. Okay, let's have a look at this GC again then. See how much more work it's going to get done. The T3 HQ is going to be a big loss for Elwood. But lose it he does. The T3 land HQ as well. This is bad for Hot Team. And somehow this hero GC, which has now killed 82,000, make that 85,000 mass. He's just smashing his way through despite having been in the red all the way from back here. And I love it. However, so this base utterly smashed. E says somebody, I think that might be MassBlocker. This is a lot of Percy's. That might be enough to take the monkey on its own, but the monkey backed up by this many bricks, I don't know. However, there is desperate sprinting from this GC as MassBlocker brings it in to help out against the monkey. And supported by the bricks, you can see the monkey will clear through this no problem, but the GC is in there. And shooting on the monkey, the GC is going to save the day for red. What a save from Blocker coming to the aid of his teammate. The GC swarms in, it's Harvey swarming, and I don't think the GC's even gonna leave the green. Okay, it does. Sorry, I lied about that. But look how much it's just taken out this entire army, a monkey and many bricks, dumping 25,000 reclaim into red space. This GC feels like it is man of the match. And not only now has this base been utterly wiped, leaving 35,000 reclaim give or take in there, but we have NGs coming in to build factories, reclaim it all, and build the mexes for MassBlocker. So this is an absolute win for the colour team up here. Can they consolidate on it? And the ecos are actually about level after the ridiculous eco lead by that Elwood and RCX had not so long ago. The ecos are now level. Now this could hurt. Remember how this base was wiped out and Hot Team haven't yet had a chance to rebuild it? I think the same fate is about to befall this base, because remember there isn't the ability to produce T2 in here anymore because the T2 Cybern HQ belonging to Red was destroyed. And he's just got this up to T2, but it's not going to have a chance to build anything because there's a swarm of bricks in here smashing it apart. And they clean it up completely. But that works both ways, because Elwood has been trying to recolonize RCX's base, and I think that this force right here might have something to say about it. This is easily going to be big enough to sweep its way through here and take out all of this sort essentially for free. And not only do we have this, but we have a fresh GC coming in here from Blocker, as well as the damaged GC that swept Dealer's old base. How the tide has turned. Marvelous. Is it a comeback? I think it sort of is for Cold Team. Satisfied that there's going to be enough to handle this, the GC moves on. This is not enough bricks to take this army, not with a GC as well. We do have a last-ditch defense here from Elwood. A Mega comes out, and a Mega beats the GC. If it's well microed and he needs to start stepping it back, this Mega will kill this GC. But Elwood is shedding bricks. He's bringing in more to support as quickly as he can. The GC is pushing in, trying to get in close to maybe behind the Mega. No, it's just going to stand in front of it. But it's going to go down. The Mega takes it out. But you know what the Mega won't take out when it's only got that much health left? Is a second GC coming in. Red finishes a Fat Boy, which down goes the Mega, which is defending against these bricks here. We've got more GCs coming out for MassBlocker, and suddenly it feels like it's all over. The GC comes stomping into the base for Elwood. Rather, the GC for MassBlocker comes in stomping into Elwood's base. He's trying to defend with Megas, that's not going up. And now I think his base might just be toast. How is he going to stop this? He's trying to build point defenses, but the GC is just sucking up the engineers building it. Actually, this is a big wall of point defense. But the GC, still in the green, I don't think we'll have a problem taking this out. His base is wrecked. His eco's wrecked. You can see on the minimap that there are heaps of experimenters coming in for Cold Team. What is Elwood to do about it? I don't think there's anything he can do. Hiding out in the pond there. And that is the only thing he can do. As the GC trashes his base, Elwood resigns. What a game of back and forth. I love it. I think the real tipping point of that game was when a GC that was in the red and could easily have been stopped if he just thought about it in time, walked into the base that Elwood inherited from Doubledealer. Do you think that was where it all fell down for him, or do you think that it was in the bag for Cold Team by that point? Tell me what you thought in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey. I'm TheCommissar. I will see you next time.